So we just got our silo in, and it's actually one of the last pieces that we'll need to really brew beer. It's what we'll be storing all of our malt in before it gets turned into delicious, delicious beer. In a few short weeks, we'll actually be brewing beer, and in a couple weeks after that, we'll be able to pour it into a glass for you to have. We're actually standing in what is going to be our tasting room right now. We actually are going to have 2 bars, one at the front that's going to have about 32 taps, one off to the side here that will both be a sort of auxiliary bar and service our private event room with 16 functioning taps. All of the beer that we serve here is going to be brewed right through that wall on that brew house. All right, as you just saw, we're coming from our silo, going through, actually the silo run will go right through what's going to be our private event room. This leads right into our mill room where, all that grain gets milled up. Leads right over here into the brew house where the real magic happens. Turn it into some nice delicious wort, which will add hops, any spices, coffee, all that good stuff. Push that through the brew house and it ends up in these lovely fermenters here. Each contain about 90 barrels, so that ends up being 3 batches through our brew house. So coming from our brew house, which is 30 barrels, going into these big old 90 barrel fermenters right here, we can actually fill one of these up in about a day's time. So we got about 9 of them. So after about a week and a half, all these will be filled, making some really delicious beer. After that, about 3 weeks of fermentation, 3 to 6 weeks, depending on the style. Once it's completely done, carbonated, all that good stuff, we actually package it. So a 90 barrel tank will be about 180 kegs. It'll make upwards of 32,000 cans of Bruheim beer for you to enjoy. Yeah, minus the ones I have off the line. So this is our lab area right here. We'll get all of our QA, QC done, making sure the beer that you drink is as clean as can possibly be and as delicious as it should be. We're in the middle of construction right now, so right now it's just sort of a holding space for tanks and other things while we're finishing up over there.
What's up, bro?
But hey, but in the future, this will actually be where we have, our barrel aging program, so we can experiment with all sorts of like spirit, wine, and those type of barrels, some other fun ingredients, and just kind of keep up with that experimental nature of brewing, because we don't want to just be making the same things all the time. We want to have as much variety as possible for it to get anybody from someone who likes that, lighter, easier drinking lager to somebody who wants to come in and have that imperial stout with all the fixins inside. And actually, a lot of that beer that's going to come as part of that pilot program into those barrels that I was just talking about is going to come from this pilot system right here. It's a 3-barrel system, so super small batch, which allows us to do things that we wouldn't be able to do on that larger system, and it allows us to play with even certain ingredients that just doesn't allow for. So super specialty batches coming out of here, going into barrels, going into kegs, maybe a couple small bottling releases. I don't know, we'll see. And eventually, basically where I'm standing right now is going to be more cellar space. We're just going to extend all those tanks down here. We're going to eventually have this huge tank farm, our canning line, more storage and all that good stuff. So we're not going anywhere. We're here to stay.